Dark Messiah of Might and Magic is a very hard game to pin down. Because on the one hand, it's a unique game. It's fun at times, but at the same time, it's deeply frustrating game to also play. But part of the reason why I think that is probably because I played in hard mode. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to play this game for the first time in hard mode, but I did do it. But even despite having really an awful experience with the hard mode, like enemies deal way too much damage in hard mode, the combat is still very fun in Dark Messiah. The dynamic where you really want to focus on downing enemies and finding ways to kill them other than just dealing damage is very engaging, and like you have to pay attention to the arena you're fighting people in very much, which is something you don't see that much in games. And the kick, the kick, yeah. It's just so fun just kicking a goblin like 10 meters just straight into fire or whatever. Like the kick is so fun. Even in the credits you can just kick. Okay, I don't think that's intended, but it's really funny. And also, while the game does have a progression system where you get skill points and your character gets better, it's mainly actually you that get better in the game. I feel like the stat improvements are very minor, but the amount of, like, of skill and ability to like use the tools you have is the main way you get better and defeat harder and harder combat encounters. But I would not recommend hard mode even slightly if you're going to play this game. It's awful. Like, awful. Like, spellcasters, even with the maximum amount of HP upgrades, they still like two-shot you with fireballs that are almost impossible to avoid. And that comes onto the more bad part of this game is it's really fucking clunky. Like, it came out in 2006, this game. Or was it 2005? I'm not sure. But the game is just, it's just clunky, right? Jumping doesn't feel satisfying. There's like no coyote time, even slightly, so you really just, you have to nail the jump, and like your character feels heavy. Which, not in a good way, where it just kind of feels like the game was made for hardware where you could only input like every 20th way. What's called the hardware where it was running at 20 frames a second, where you could then only input something like every so often. I don't think I'm not sure what I'm talking about, but like it feels like the inputs are very delayed, and it's not made for like modern gaming, which it makes sense. And honestly, one of the biggest points, negative points about this game is, holy shit, it's so edgy. Like, this game was made for 2006 gamers. Like, the early enemies, like, they keep repeating, "Show some skill before I kill you." And it's just so over the top with edge. And like like in this game, spoiler alert, you're at fucking demon spawn. And like you can activate your demon mode halfway through the game, and it's so edgy. Also, it's a bit sexist. Like, there's the heroine, what's it called? The hero Brian. Like halfway through the game. Wow, a lot of stuff happened halfway through the game. Halfway through the game, you meet Leanne, who, despite the main character and Leanne having like a quarter of a conversation, like they barely even looked at each other, almost immediately they fall in love. Which it's just, yep, they knew their audience, right? It's a bit off-putting. And also in general, the cutscenes are psychedelic. Like holy shit. The running joke through the streams I did of this game was that the main character is schizophrenic because the cutscenes just come out of nowhere and they just throw shit at you. It feels insane. I feel insane watching them. Also, the audio settings don't change the audio in the cutscenes, so they're just ass blastingly loud. But speaking of ass blasting, crashes. The game is old. It's not made for Windows 10 or 11. So it's gonna crash. You should, if you actually want to play it, go just in Google. There's a few solutions to solving crashes, like some settings you should turn on, and also like a file you should download and replace. Overall, this circles around my main point of this is it's really hard to recommend this game, really, because it's got so many issues. And like, also when I was streaming it, like in chat we were just like, wow, this game is both so awesome and so bad at the same time. It's just flip-flopping between like a classic game and something that should be forgotten, like one sentence to another almost. But when you are having fun, when you are solving these combat encounters, kicking imps into spikes and whistles over edges into freefall, like it is quite fun. I love the kick. It's so good. Like more games should just have you kick people downstairs. Like honestly. Is that my conclusion? More games should have you kick people downstairs. Well,